Plaintiff Jeffrey Garrett was friends with the defendant, but he claims the defendant likes to embellish his lifestyle. Jeffrey is suing his former friend because he let the defendant use his credit card, but he failed to pay the bill. Defendant Shannon Carson and his wife, Ronaldin Roach, say Jeffrey seemed like a nice guy when they met, and he was very proud of the fact that his wife was 30 years younger than him. Shannon now suspects Jeffrey is a racist, and he insists he has repaid his debt.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, first of all, I'm glad to be here on your show, and I know you're street smart. You've talked about it on your shows, and you'll know somebody that embellishes
Putting game
themselves.
down, I know it like the back of my hand.
And somebody that embellishes themselves and talk about, that's Mr. Shannon Carson. I met Shannon about a year and 8 months ago. I was thinking about buying a truck to change careers, tractor trailer. He's an over-the-road driver. I first met him, the first words I ever said to him, I said, "Do you make pretty good money driving a truck?" What he told me was, "You see what I drive." So the character right then was, okay, he's trying to impress me. Well, come to find out it's a BMW. It was repoed twice. It's broke down. And so he doesn't exactly have what he
Projects to have,
projects
or
to
even
have.
says he has.
Yeah. So, but I believe he really wanted to be a good friend. That's what I believed. I tried to help him out numerous times. They were getting evicted. He moved into our house. I let him use credit card because he was unemployed at that time because he couldn't find work driving a truck because he has to get a 1099, can't work for W-2 for some reason. So I let him use the credit card. He did pay back the first time he used it.
Plaintiff Jeffrey Garrett is suing his former friend, who believes Jeffrey may be a racist.
Okay, before we get to all
Okay.
the details, let me allow him to give some background.
Okay.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good.
Glad to be here. Mr. Jeffrey Garrett, like he said about me, I will, replenish the same for him. He seemed like a good guy when we first met. There's a Filipino community that you look for on Facebook. My wife is Filipino. He have a young wife, 22 years old. I assume the time that we met him. 53 years old, Mr. Garrett, so he's probably pretty proud he has a young wife, so that's why he's very boastful. Moved into his house. He said we got evicted. We wasn't getting evicted. We had a year's lease. He actually asked me to leave my lease, and I said, no, I won't do that. So talked it over with my wife. I said, he's offered us to move into his house. Our lease is coming up. It's hard to find an apartment. The pandemic was coming up. I said, maybe it's an opportunity to save money. We would, take him up on his offer. $550 a month's what I paid him for rent. Time went by. A couple of weeks, I guess he moved in. And he brought up something about he's got a special rule in his house that you must sit down to pee, even you're a guy. And I said, sit down to pee? I'm 48 years old. I will never do that,
Sir,
this is
that
kind of
true?
characteristic.
Well, my wife is from the Philippines, and she's young, but she got into it because there's
He got into what?
well, she found out about this, that it keeps the restroom cleaner. It keeps the commode cleaner when men
Do
stand
you
up
sit
to urinate.
down when you urinate?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem with it because
I'm
I'm
not
not.
the same rules.
I'm
I
not-
got you.
I'm not ego. I don't have an ego so big that I can't adjust to what
I'm
my
with
wife
you.
wants,
No
especially when
problem.
it keeps the restroom
That's
cleaner.
called courage.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
No, seriously, that's called courage to admit it.
Yes, sir. So
That's
I couldn't make him do it, obviously. So I asked him. I said, but he would never do it. He went outside in the morning. He would go outside.
Right.
He couldn't adjust. His ego is too big to adjust it.
Right. For you to say it, because that's what you and your wife determine works best for y'all, hats off to you. I'll give you a hand. Hats off to you.
Your Honor, can I also say something?
Yes.
It's not in my evidence. I have the lease where he was evicted. It was not a mutual conversation of him moving in. He was evicted. They went to court. She lost. It was in her name, and they owe money now because he didn't want to pay, and he moved out before the eviction, so they had to dismiss the eviction because he was out.
So it's forced volunteerism.
He has no.
Yes,
he
but
has
it had
no-
nothing to do with me.
He has
Like,
no evidence.
All right, go ahead, sir. Anything else you want to tell me before we get to the credit card?
To further give you Mr. Greg's characteristics, what led us to end our friendship, going out the door, so to say. My wife came from an ex-relationship. She was married to an African-American gentleman, and so they have an African-American Filipino son. And we had spoken about maybe bringing him back to the United States because it's in care of her mother right now. And of course, we're living with Mr. Garrett at the time. He can't accommodate more room, so to say. We was in one room by ourselves. And I assumed that maybe he might be somewhat racist because of the comeback comment he gave. He said, I would never bring especially a black boy back to the United States because of the, shootings in schools. They're going to bully him, and he doesn't know that child. He doesn't know nothing about him.
Did you tell him Judge Mathis don't do that?
Sir?
Did you tell him Judge Mathis doesn't do all
sir,
that?
we had no idea.
All black men don't do that. All black men that come from wherever he was sending from won't have that challenge.
Well, so
Most of them that come from Africa, they have masters and they're working on their PhDs.
Well, he's a very good kid.
So I don't think he meant that
That's not
because
exactly
he doesn't
what I
come
said.
across
What I
that.
said, Your Honor,
Yeah.
was he's in the Philippines. He right now has a very good, stable life. He's in school. He's doing very well. He really is a smart boy. And I said to bring him here right now, and things are unstable right now.
Depending on where it's going.
In our state, in the school systems, there's shootings every day. And I said, you're bringing him out of a very stable life right now for selfish reasons to bring him over here.
Selfish.
And I don't.
I like
my
you
personal
even
opinion,
more. Credit card bill. Tell me about that. $2,200.
Well, Your Honor, I let him use a credit card while he lived with us. And like I said, he paid off the first part. He got a job. He got a hiring bonus. So he was Rockefeller fabulous. He had money. So he paid the $1,000 or whatever, $53, and then he ran up some more credit because he paid that one off. I figured he paid off.
Right.
And he kept not wanting to pay payments, even rent, whatever. There was everything. Wow. So basically, he ran up all the credit cards. One day, his car was getting repoed in my driveway. She was sitting in the car. And I went out there and
they didn't pick her up in the car and sit in it while they tow it.
No, I know the law, so I told the tow truck driver, I said, you need to unhook it and get out of here before I call the police for breach of peace. Okay. And he argued, and I said, look, if you want to just pay the car off with the credit card and pay me back, that's fine. So we actually paid his car. He wouldn't have a car if it wasn't for me today, okay? That car that he drove when I first met him. So he's on that, it's Southside Auto for $1,449. Mm-hmm. Walmart was going out of business, so they decided they needed to go spend $327, $138 because they were going out of business to put in boxes to send to the Philippines. But then he don't want to pay me back. So technically, I bought the stuff, and I bought his car. So I'm just asking for what he owes me. I tried to make it easy, and I said, look, $200 a month, because I've already paid the credit cards off. I said, because the interest was like $40, high interest credit card. So I said, you pay me $200 a month for 11 months, which he agreed to in the statements. And then I said, it's due on the first of the month. I pay my bills on time. To me, you're only as good as your word. So I don't need a friend that is not going to honor his word. He says right there, yeah, I'll do it. I'll pay you $200. Then I said, look, just pay me $100. I just want to pay the payments. Crickets. Then it went away. Then it's like, be patient with me. I'm getting a loan. I'll pay the whole thing off. He can't get a loan. He has no credit.
You all still friends?
He has no credit, Your Honor. These credit cards right here, I put them in his name to try to help him build his credit. I actually added him to my credit card accounts, and he did me this way. All he had to do is pay me $100 a month. We wouldn't be here today. But if he can't do that and he can't be a man of his word, I don't need a friend like that.
And you make a good friend from all I hear.
I tried to be, Your Honor.
And just in general, because the stand-up guy that you are, well, you don't always stand. But
that was good. That was really good.
Plaintiff Jeffrey Garrett is suing his former friend, who believes Jeffrey may be a racist.
You know I couldn't miss that,
sorry. That's funny.
You are a stand-up, decent man.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And those are the type of friends people look for. And I hope you appreciate his friendship, and I hope you all can resume that friendship after we resolve this dispute here, because all intents and purposes, it sounds like a good man to me, a man with courage, a man with conviction, a man with values, and a man with a good heart to loan you this money and allow you to charge it. What's your defense? He says you haven't paid $2,200 of it.
Your Honor, I did pay off the $1,053. I put it in evidence over here. It's on page 3. I'm sorry, page 2.
I'm not
Page
disputing
3,
that.
I sent him. Page 3, I sent him $200 as a payment.
What's the total you paid him, sir?
That would be $1,253.
And so how much do you believe you owe?
Well, he's still got some property of mine that we had discussed.
Yeah, let's talk about what you owe him first.
As far as what? I'm sorry.
Credit card?
$2,200 total.
Okay, you do. And your defense is?
with the property that he still has and what I've paid him, I think we're even.
Okay, what property does he have?
He's got a couch that we had in his house that's worth about $1,500, and there's some conversations in our evidence back and forth where I had let him know that I had a credit card come into his house. It's a Walmart credit card. He had spoken to my wife at that time back and forth because, as he has told you, I drive truck. I'm not always there to be able to have a conversation. And he had set something up with her that, okay, yes, the credit card is here. Come tomorrow because I got to work. She'd set it up because she doesn't drive. She'd have a friend to bring her over there. He said, nah, I can't do it. Make it the next day. Until it finally came to the point where he said, my lawyer advised me that I will send it certified mail. Obviously, what he did, there's some video that I submitted as evidence. He had sent it FedEx or USPS mail certified. I had to sign for it. When I went inside, had video going, I opened up the package and dumped it on the table. The credit card falls out by itself, and then the subpoena to go to court for the civil suit was in there as well. So his object was to serve me that subpoena, but as you can understand, he also opened my mail that the credit card had come in, took the credit card off of the paperwork and put it in there. So he sees all my information, everything about me. So Mr. Garrett thinks he's above the law. He can do anything he wants to do.
So he opened an envelope with
Yes,
your
he
name
did.
on it. I got that. But that's not part of the case today. And your defense involves, tell me about the couch. That's what you said.
Okay, so the couch, it's a couch that you can plug your cell phone into and charge your cell phone. It reclines.
How is it you left it? Let's start there.
Well, when we attempted to get our stuff,
No, when you left it.
yes, we did leave it with our stuff. Well, actually, it was still on the road. We haven't yet come to the conclusion that we're moving out. Okay, at this point.
Has he stopped you from getting the couch?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there we go. When? Okay,
Well,
so
the
why
last time
didn't
we
you
tried to
make
get it, there's a evidence here on page 13, 7-1, a
Were you
conversation.
offered to make that a counterclaim because that's what that is? It's disassociated with the credit
sir, you
card.
just asked me
My
what I
staff
feel like
should have offered you to an opportunity to countersue for the couch. You didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah, I did get the opportunity, but no, sir, I
You
did not.
turned it down. All right. Yeah, you want to talk about it today? Well,
But you asked me why I felt I owed him, and that's why I'm explaining to you.
yeah, I got you, but that's why I'm explaining to you. Those are two different things, and that's why my staff was explaining to you.
Yes, sir.
And I invited you the opportunity to do what you're doing
Yes, sir.
and get a judgment because you might have won, but you turned the
Well, on
opportunity
page 13,
down.
it says right here, our conversation between me and Mr. Garrett, it says, you sold me these things to pay off your credit card debt, and I replied,
Oh, he said what page?
page 13.
He said offset something to pay the credit card debt, or I'm keeping it to pay the credit card
And I
debt.
said, and he goes, now you want your stuff back. And I said, what credit card debt? And he goes, it's civil. Sue me, I will win. All on page 13.
He will, from all I've heard, with regard to the card. Even you admit that he owes something. You owe $2,200. The only issue is whether he withheld your things in light of in
That's
response
right
to
around
the
page
credit
13,
card
sir.
issue. I signed nothing, but it's merely a verbal agreement. Holds nothing in court. That's you. All right. When you talk like that,
That was just
you
an argument, Your Honor, we were having about his
judgment for the plaintiff, $2,200. He agrees he owes that amount. He was offered the opportunity to counterclaim, but he didn't. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you have a friend, you might want to repay your debts if they're trying to help you. You know, I honestly believe that in your mind, you're going to pay back because you always tell me, oh, I'll pay you. You know, you buy the car, I'll pay you more than I'm going to pay you. I'll pay you, but then you never pay. And then you block me, and then you ghost me, and then you won't.
Block you, and you go tell my friends all these things. You just.
I'm telling your friends the
You
truth,
talk,
so that they don't get into your web either.
That's okay.
So-
there's a such thing as called karma. It will come to you.
Like your truck's always broke down because you can never do anything. Because yeah, your karma is hitting you.
Jeff don't get his way, he gets upset.
No, he gets in court.